It started on a street corner in Portland, Oregon, an unassuming crosswalk, a lone security camera humming through the night. The footage seemed ordinary until the operator noticed something impossible. A shadow, thin and sharp, stretched across the asphalt without any physical source to project it. The street lamps flickered as if aware of the anomaly, trembling in fear of the thing they could not create. Investigators assumed it was a glitch, perhaps a camera artifact caused by dust or rain distortion. But the image persisted across multiple feeds, synchronized time codes to the second. Every camera, every angle, showed the same shadow moving independently of any visible object. Even when the lights were turned off, the silhouette remained, pulsing faintly as if breathing. Locals began whispering about it, calling it the Phantom of Division Street. At first, only one block was affected, but within a week, the distortion spread across 3 intersections. Drivers swore they saw it crawling across their headlights, freezing their steering for a fraction of a second. The city quietly quarantined the footage, marking it for internal review only. A tech company volunteered to analyze the raw feed, layering filters and exposing hidden metadata frames. What they uncovered was horrifying. Inside each frame, the darkness contained texture, infinite and shifting like a distant ocean under moonlight. The shadow wasn't an absence of light but a presence, a material darkness harder than the pavement beneath it. One engineer fainted when he saw movement inside that blackness. When city workers tried to measure the point of origin with laser scanners, their devices refused to align. The laser lines would simply vanish upon contact with the shadow, absorbed entirely. They'd sweep again, and every measurement returned null distance, as if space itself stopped existing beyond that boundary. The team's leader described the experience as staring into the end of reality itself. Witnesses began reporting side effects, severe migraines, auditory distortions, and an overwhelming sense that someone was standing directly behind them. One old man claimed the shadow followed him home, sliding underneath his door and whispering his name while he slept. Within days, he was found missing, his shoes still facing the spot where the darkness first appeared. Authorities sealed off the area, but the shadow didn't obey barricades. News leaked online through a short 15-second clip uploaded to a forum before being erased. It showed the shape inching along a wall, defying angles like a liquid creature searching for form. The few who watched it described losing 5 minutes of memory afterward, replaced by static ringing in their ears. It was the first digital haunting of its kind, half data corruption, half something else entirely. By late autumn, the temperature around the site dropped significantly, even during daylight. Birds avoided the intersection, and no animals crossed the path where the shadow remained. Scientists who visited recorded inexplicable gravitation anomalies, something beneath the asphalt pulling faintly downward. Construction crews refused to dig after drills began to distort and melt without heat. Mayor Linda Shaw ordered all equipment removed and the block repaved, hoping to erase whatever geometric anchor the phenomenon used. For 48 hours, the new layer of asphalt looked perfect, smooth, black, silent. But on the third night, as rain fell, the shadow returned in the same position. Only now it was longer, stretching toward the horizon like a road leading nowhere. An amateur paranormal investigator named Chris Dwell snuck past the barricades with a thermal camera and body mic. His stream went live for 2 minutes before cutting abruptly to static, enough time to catch his trembling voice. He kept saying there's no source, only the echo of something moving nearby. The feed ended with a faint whisper that analysts later identified as his own voice repeating backwards. Weeks later, the footage reappeared on an encrypted web archive, slightly altered. Each time someone downloaded it, the dimensions shifted subtly, as if the file were learning new shapes. Photometric analysis revealed impossible data layers far exceeding known compression limits. Viewers described seeing their own reflections inside the darkness, distorted like glass under pressure. When local news attempted coverage, their live vans suffered electrical surges, frying every onboard circuit. Reporters claimed their shadows flickered in multiple directions, even under single-source lighting. They abandoned broadcast midway as the station's receivers began emitting low-frequency tones. The transmission log ends with an audible gasp before silence. Experts from the Institute of Light Dynamics proposed that the phenomenon could be a negative photon cluster, a mirror defect within reality's rendering field. To skeptics, it sounded absurd, but mathematical models fit too precisely to discard. They suggested this zone was never meant to exist, like a rogue pixel in the simulation of the universe. Still, no instruments could quantify what the eye plainly saw. Despite lockdowns, nocturnal wanderers began making pilgrimages to the forbidden intersection. Social media blossomed with shaky videos, each claiming to document the impossible shadow. Some showed the figure expanding when observers spoke near it, as though feeding on attention. One clip ended when the camera abruptly turned to face the filmer, capturing their terrified expression before everything went black. Theories multiplied rapidly: interdimensional leakage, military experiment, collective hallucination. Yet, none explained the precision of its pattern, repeating every 23 minutes like a rhythmic pulse. Scientists set up remote recorders, but every sensor failed after capturing exactly 3 cycles. Something, or someone, didn't want this data leaving the area untouched. December, a blackout engulfed half the city following an intense electromagnetic spike sourced to the same coordinates. When power returned, the entire intersection had changed texture, the asphalt reflective like oil, shimmering with faint movement. Forensic crews found no debris, only a perfect elliptical indentation centered on the ghostly shadow. Its edges pulsed faint light from within. The Department of Energy quietly arrived with unmarked trucks, installing equipment that looked more military than scientific. They didn't release statements, only sealed the whole radius with temporary fencing. Residents within the perimeter reported hearing low voices, mechanical, repeating fragments of words they couldn't quite understand. Nighttime became unbearably silent, as if waiting for something unseen to breathe. Late-night radio hosts began discussing it as an omen, a rent in the world that could not be mended. Callers described seeing duplicate shadows around their feet when passing streetlights, multiplying slowly. One woman swore hers detached momentarily then returned, as if deciding whether to stay. She hasn't been reachable since that broadcast. Independent researchers who hacked the government feed discovered strange binary data embedded in light readings. When translated into sound, it produced a soft heartbeat at 110 beats per minute. The pattern matched the frequency range of the human subconscious response to fear. It wasn't just a shadow, it was broadcasting something alive. Historians later uncovered accounts of similar anomalies dating back centuries, paintings of unnaturally shaped silhouettes that defied candlelight logic. Old journals spoke of travelers who disappeared upon following their own shadows at dusk. Across generations, the phenomenon seemed cyclical, returning each time human curiosity reached a new technological peak. Perhaps we were never supposed to notice the defect. Meanwhile, workers tasked with maintaining nearby subway tunnels began hearing footsteps echoing in empty shafts. They described seeing narrow black streaks sliding along the concrete walls, mimicking their movements. One team's helmet camera recorded an elongated arm of darkness reaching toward them before distortion consumed the footage. None of that crew returned to work afterward. Satellite imagery failed to detect the shadow from orbit, as if it refused to exist when observed indirectly. Yet, traffic cameras still captured it moving with eerie fluidity. Some theorized it existed between frames of observation, the way a glitch slips past the processor's refresh rate. There, in the blind spot of perception, something intelligent waited. The late-night janitor employed near the intersection swore he saw 2 shadows once where one should be. They merged slowly, forming a human outline tall and motionless. His flashlight passed right through it, but the air turned freezing cold. He reported hearing his own voice whisper from inside that shape, asking him when he planned to wake up. Forensics technicians attempted to trap a portion of the darkness in a glass vacuum chamber. The instant the barrier sealed, light flickered and collapsed entirely within the container, turning it mirror black. The internal temperature dropped below measurable limits, and the surface began vibrating. Moments later, every power source in a 2-block radius failed simultaneously. When the blackout cleared, the chamber was gone, no glass shards, no residue, just a perfect circular mark scorched onto the floor. The readings around it pulsed with microwaves inconsistent with any known frequency pattern. It was as if the material had transitioned to another dimension, leaving behind only the absence of its existence. The research facility quietly shut down afterward. By spring, the public had mostly forgotten, distracted by news cycles and politics. But those who lived nearby still refused to walk alone after sunset. Occasionally, lone pedestrians would stop abruptly mid-step, staring down at their feet as if confused by what they saw. A few never moved again, simply standing motionless until morning. The local church claimed the entity mirrored the biblical description of a wandering void, darkness given will. They performed nightly vigils, surrounding the intersection with candles and prayers. The flames danced strangely, swaying away from the center as if repelled. Some parishioners swore they saw figures inside the glow, watching them from the other side. Then came the tourist couple from Chicago who streamed their visit live to thousands. Midway across the street, their shadows split, forming elongated spires that twisted against gravity. The video ended with both figures shrinking rapidly into the ground, leaving only the street's reflection behind. The metadata of their final frame contained one word: return. Police reports labeled the event mass hysteria, deleting the footage within hours. Yet mirrored versions resurfaced globally, each subtly different, as if re-recorded through some invisible hand. The same shadow appeared in Tokyo, London, and Johannesburg within days. No official connection existed, but every angle showed identical geometry, zero source, endless motion. Conspiracy theorists argued it was the universe adjusting itself, rooting out awareness leaks. They compared it to memory fragmentation in massive data networks, a natural reboot. But some whispered darker theories, believing the shadow to be consciousness from outside the rendering field trying to reclaim its ground. Humanity, they said, had caught its own reflection turned inside out. Government statements ceased entirely, replaced by automated advisory messages warning citizens about light irregularities. Yet those who ignored the warnings found their reflections subtly delayed in mirrors. Photographs refused to capture them correctly, every portrait sprouted an unexplained dark smudge beside the subject. Something had followed humanity home from its glitch. A filmmaker documented survivors from the area, each described dreams of streets looping endlessly under overcast skies. Within those dreams, the shadow waited in every doorway, watching patiently. It never spoke, never chased, only waited for recognition. Psychologists called it collective trauma, the locals called it unfinished business from another layer of existence. Years later, the exact coordinates of the original event remain sealed, the pavement replaced a dozen times. Yet satellite night luminance readings show a colder patch precisely where the shadow once stood. No explanation satisfies the question burning through every sleepless researcher's mind. How can darkness exist without something to cast it? Tonight, as you sit in your lit room, take a slow look behind you. Measure the length of your shadow, the angle, the shape you trust as your silent twin. If for one heartbeat it moves differently, do not blink. Because sometimes, the thing that follows you isn't yours anymore.